360.
This is Studio 360. I'm Kurt Andersen. Back in my younger days, I spent a lot of time doing parodies. In college at the Harvard Lampoon and then at Spy Magazine, parodies in print. Fortunately, I'm not a musician or a filmmaker because otherwise I would have been incredibly jealous of my next guest's talent and success.
I know what I need, baby. I love Rocky Road, so won't you go and buy half a gallon, baby? I love Rocky Road, so have another triple scope with me. Ow!
Just about exactly 30 years ago, Weird Al Yankovic released his debut album, which included that parody of Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. Funny novelty records were nothing new, but they and their performers came and went pretty quickly. Whereas this album sold 500,000 copies, and its follow-up, In 3D, went platinum. That one featured Yankovic's Michael Jackson parody, Eat It. And in a little while, today, we're going to hear a special live unplugged version of that song. But before we do, we're going to talk. Al Yankovic, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you in Studio 360.
Thank you, Kurt. Great to be here.
So you have been around long enough to parody Billy Ray Cyrus and his daughter, Miley, Madonna and her daughter, Lady Gaga. Not only do you have multiple generations of fans, but the artists you parody have come to see your music as more than just some stunt. Lady Gaga called your parody of her song Born This Way a rite of passage. I want to play just a little bit of that song.
I'm so completely original. My new look is all the rage. I'll wrap my small intestines round my neck and set fire to myself on stage. I'll wear a porcupine on my head.
So at this point, not that you've been ever a vicious satirist, but how does it feel to be this kind of elder statesman, some kind of bizarro world version of Ed Sullivan and Dick Clark?
It's a very odd thing because, it's sort of a signal that an artist has reached a certain plateau in their career. You know, they've got the Grammys, they've got the platinum albums, then they get the Weird Al parody. So it's just part of the triumvirate there. So
you're a little younger than I am, but it's the 60s, it's the early 70s, and rock and roll is happening, and Hendrix is happening, and Dylan is happening. This guitar revolution of rock and roll takes itself very seriously in many ways. And you have an accordion and start writing parodies. How did that happen?
Well, oddly enough, my friends actually didn't want me in their rock bands with an accordion.
Really?
They weren't ahead of the curve. They didn't realize that the accordion would take over Western civilization the way that it obviously has.
There were no hipsters to rediscover it yet.
I was the original hipster, I'm sorry to say, yes.
And at what point did you decide, well, the accordion is funny?
Well, I didn't intend it to be funny, but I love rock and roll, and I'd learn songs off the radio and play it, on the accordion, and my friends would think there was humor in that. They thought the juxtaposition was ridiculous, and I didn't think quite so much, but I found that other people did, and I kind of used that to my advantage.
I started playing Doors songs on the trumpet. If I'd only understood what you understood. You jokingly say you're the original hipster, but the hipsters of right now are all embracing you. You've done on Cartoon Network, Robot Chicken, Tim and Eric Awesome Show, 30 Rock. Do you go to them and strategize of, I want the cool kids to like me, or do they come to you?
It's hard to proactively try to be cool or relevant. It's
the opposite of cool.
It kind of happens if it happens. So I don't know. For a long stretch of my career, I wasn't considered cool. In fact, my manager will tell you stories about when I was starting out. He couldn't get his phone calls returned. He'd say, "Hi, I represent Weird Al Yankovic," and they'd say, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Really?
So
even after you'd had hits?
I had to have a lot of hits before I stopped being considered a one-hit wonder.
Then you were a two-hit wonder and a six-hit wonder?
Right. And then after a while, he's not going away, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you won 3 Grammy Awards. Your first one in 1984 was for Eat It, named Best Comedy Record. And anybody who was alive then will remember the music video. It is a shot-for-shot parody of Michael Jackson's video for Beat It. The arrival of MTV just when you essentially, as you were starting out, is an incredibly fortuitous thing, right?
Yeah, I was sort of an outlier in that sense because MTV and I started out at the same time. And when MTV started out, people were obsessed with it. I mean, it was a 24-hour music video channel. People hadn't seen anything like that before. And, I was certainly one of those people that would watch MTV for hours and hours every day. And the hit videos were things people were intimately familiar with. You knew every shot of those videos. So that made my job very easy because all you had to do was tweak things a little bit and people instantly knew what direction you were going.
Right. Well, let's go back in time to that moment and hear our special unplugged version of Eat It performed live right here.
Such a fussy young man. Don't want no Captain Crunch, don't want no Raisin Bran. Well, don't you know that other kids are starving in Japan? So eat it, just eat it. Don't wanna argue, I don't wanna debate. Don't wanna hear about what kind of food you hate. You won't get no dessert till you clean off your plate. So eat it. Don't you tell me you're full, just eat it. Eat it. Get yourself an egg and beat it. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried, just to eat it. Just eat it, just eat it. Your table manners are a crying shame. You're playing with your food, this ain't some kind of game. Now if you starve to death, you'll just have yourself to blame. So eat it, just eat it. And better do what you're told. You haven't even touched your tuna casserole. You better chow down or it's gonna get cold. So eat it. I don't care if you're full, just eat it. Eat it. If it's getting cold, reheat it. Have a big light snack. If you don't like it, you can't send it back. Just to eat it. Eat it. Open up your mouth and feed it. Have some more yogurt, have some more Spam. It doesn't matter if it's fresh or canned, just to eat it. Don't you make me repeat it. Have a banana, have a whole bunch. It doesn't matter what you had for lunch, just to eat it. Eat it. Eat it.
That was Weird Al Yankovic and his band performing live the ultimate modern pop parody, Eat It. You sort of, in this unplugged way, you've sort of turned it into a Clapton-esque Layla-like thing.
Yes, that was actually something that we had done for MTV in the late 90s. They wanted to do a parody spot based on the fact that I had kind of changed my look at that time, and their Unplugged series was obviously very popular. So we did this mock commercial for our new sound, and we did these Eric Clapton-esque versions of our hits.
I've always loved, and every time I've heard that song, I chuckle still at the phrase tuna casserole being in a rock and roll song. And
one of the first times, I believe.
I think. And can you introduce this greatest cover band on earth?
Yes. Over there on keys, Ruben Valtierra, Jim Kimo West on guitar, Steve J on bass, and John Bermuda Schwartz on drums.
I mentioned earlier, you've got multiple generations of fans at this point, and now keeping that going into yet new generations, you are a very successful children's book author with a new one coming out this week.
That's right. It's called My New Teacher and Me.
And what's that story?
It's the story of Billy, who is the star of my first book, When I Grow Up. And he's a very imaginative kid. And
he's a liar. He's a pathological liar.
Well, I wouldn't say that. He's it remains to be seen whether he's lying about his stories or not. But he's got a very wild imagination. And that doesn't quite mesh with his new teacher, Mr. Booth, who's a very by-the-book teacher without much of a sense of humor or sense of imagination. And they don't quite see it eye to eye. So it's a little bit about the antagonism between the two of those.
And in My New Teacher and Me, there's a page where Billy is defending himself against this grumpy literalist teacher, and he says, "Why get upset if somebody like me tries to look at the world just a bit differently?" When you were a little kid, were your parents like that teacher, or did they let you run free and pursue creativity in whatever way you wanted?
Well, they were always very supportive of whatever I wanted to do. So I wouldn't say that I had free reign, but I mean, they always just encouraged me to find my muse. I graduated with a degree in architecture, but they weren't freaked out at all when I said, yeah, I think I want to try to do funny music for a living.
Yeah. Well, architects make no money anyway, so what the hell? It was two loser professions you had to choose from. You are now working on a new album, I hear?
I am, yes. We're about halfway done with it.
Written and recorded?
We have 3 songs that are completely done. We have 3 songs that are recorded and are in the process of being mixed. And I have 6 songs which have not been conceptualized yet.
Do you say before records come out what songs you're doing?
I do not. It's a secret. A lot of comedy is a surprise. So
yes.
I like people to be as surprised as possible when they hear it for the first time.
And as you're picking songs to do parodies of, do you have a team of Weird Al interns who are just combing through all the different genres and say, this is a hit. This is about to become a hit.
Oh, I do not. I don't have a whole office full of people saying, what you should do. No, I just personally go through the Billboard charts and go online and I kind of make a master list of songs that I think are good candidates for parody. And then I try to think of every possible variation on a theme and see if there's anything that, has some kind of spark where I can develop it into a full 3.5 minute long pop song.
Would you be willing to take suggestions from our listeners?
No.
Okay, good. Good.
I don't, because that's the bane of my existence. Every day of my life, people say, I got this great idea. I've been holding on to it since the 3rd grade. It's you should do this. So I tell people right off the bat, I don't really take ideas from people.
What do you listen to at home or in your car?
A little bit of everything. I've got a 10-year-old daughter, so we mostly listen to what she wants to listen to in the car. But she's pretty
again
warped.
and again and again.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, thankfully, she's about as warped as me. And for about a 1-month period, we listened to "They're Coming to Take Me Away," haha, nonstop.
Really?
In the car.
Clearly, you introduced that to her. Which was the great novelty comic song of my childhood.
Yeah, that was. In fact, I'm going to see Jerry Samuels, who's Napoleon the 14th. Pretty soon, he runs a rest home. So I'm going to.
Is that sad or not?
No, I mean he's doing what he loves as well. I'm going to visit the people there pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand because I've never heard a recording of it, but you do a version of Elvis Costello's Radio.
I do. We do that. That's sort of our emergency song, meaning that if there's anything that happens on stage, the computer server goes down or something that makes it impossible for us to continue, we stop the show and say, ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to go on with this. Radio. And then we just go into that. So it's if you ever hear that in one of our live shows, it means something has gone horribly wrong.
Can we declare this in a special emergency?
Let's do that. Here we go.
Shine on the light night dial, doing anything my radio advised. With every one of those late night stations playing songs, bringing tears to my eyes. I was seriously thinking about hiding the receiver when the switch broke, 'cause it's old. They're saying things that I can hardly believe. They really think we're getting out of control. Radio is the sound salvation. Radio is cleaning up the nation. They say you better listen to the voice of reason, but they don't give you any choice 'cause they think that it's treason. Say you would better do as you were told. You better listen to the radio. about the times ahead. But everybody else is overwhelmed by indifference and the promise of an early bed. You either shut up or get cut out, they don't want to hear about it. It's only inches on the reel-to-reel. And the radio is in the hands of such a lot of fools trying to anesthetize the way that you feel. Radio is a sound salvation. Radio is cleaning up the nation. They say you better listen to the voice of reason. But they don't give you any choice cause they think that it's treason. So you had better do as you were told. You better listen to the radio. Wonderful radio. Marvelous radio. Wonderful radio. Radio, radio. Radio, radio. Radio, radio.
That was Weird Al Yankovic playing Radio Radio, which is wonderful to hear because I've never heard it before.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've
should
heard
get out
Elvis
more.
Costello play it. I've not heard you play it. Al Yankovic, it is a pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations for 30 years.
Yay!
It's almost 30 years exactly that your first album came out, right?
That's true, yeah.
Do you figure 30 more years?
Well, yeah, at least. Don't you think?
Sure. You know, Mick Jagger is almost 80, isn't he? And then the third Cyrus child. You know,
True. I gotta
Miley
do
Jr.
The grandkid, of course.
Exactly. For all you longtime Weird Al fans who are now parents or grandparents, his new children's book is called My New Teacher and Me, and it is out this week. And Al, we have strategically placed an accordion, you may have noticed.
Oh, this thing.
This thing now in your lap.
Oh, where'd that come from?
Would you be up for playing us out instrumentally as
Just a little something? Okay, I can do
finish
that.
the show?
All right, here we go.